So this is a breakthrough mastery program. So how do you become a master at breaking free from some of your obstacles or challenges in your life, or, start feeling free? So I actually very consciously chose a background which is white, green, and a butterfly and a red. So I'm just telling you all the meaning of it. Red means direction. Okay. Whenever you use the color red, it gives you a direction. And green is all about bringing in the love energy that helps you to expand. And I've put, life of a butterfly from, from the inception as a egg to how it goes on to become a butterfly. If you see, I know all of us think of ourselves as, transformed in some way, very happy about who we are in some way, or we feel like, yes, this is me. Most of us have a definition called this is me. But the fact is, most of us are somewhere in this stage of the transformational journey where we have created a very beautiful shield around us like a pupa, and sitting within that is where we are functioning. We are not really ready to break free from that pupa and see what color wings do I have, or how am I, or who am I. We really have not transformed completely to our potential, because once a butterfly is completely transformed to this state, it never goes back into a pupa, isn't it? Agreed? So somewhere I'm trying to see if you all can understand at which stage you are in this journey, and then, identify that and try and see how you can get to this state. Okay. So that was the idea of this whole background and the color combination, and it just happened instantly. Then I thought it looks beautiful. Does it look beautiful? Whoever is there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you. So who am I? I told most of my students, you all should always go on this journey. Who am I? Because most of the time we really don't know who I am. We are just going through, what is the word that I can use? Imagination of who we are, or we are trying to create an image of who we are and trying to fit into that. But do we really know who we are? No. The day we know who we are, life will drastically change, because self-awareness is the best thing that can ever happen to us. Okay. So who are we? We are the sum total of all the experiences, of all the conditioning of our present lifetime from our birth till now, okay, which includes created imprints of other people's opinion, judgment, and projection. Okay. A lot what, I mean, if I ask who am I don't think any of us can ever give a definition of who I am, because most of the time we are projecting a disciplinary, action which our parents has put in. Today also I had to speak to somebody, so I was like thinking how much I could relate to what he is doing from where he comes from. So in the same way, a lot of people, when I start talking to them, after the first 15-20 minutes of talking to them, not even 15-20 minutes, after the first 10 minutes of talking to them, I simply can identify saying that they are projecting an image of their own parents, either mother, father, or whoever was around them growing up. And also, what are the rules and regulations that was surrounding them while growing up, and all the do's and don'ts that was given to them when they were growing up. So this imprints that they hold in their subconscious mind is what they're projecting to the whole world. And all the experiences in this lifetime, from the time we have been born to the time that we are today, right now here, with all the, when I say imprints, it can be clarity, it can be confusion, it can be utter chaos that you're creating in your own space. Everything comes from who we have been in this present lifetime. But also, and a lot of people fight this part of their life also, is because they say, I know I want to do this, but somehow I'm not able to break free from it. So a lot of things, when I ask them questions like, has it happened, like, your parent or somebody in your space, did they do something like this, or what happened? Did you? They say, no, 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 I can't recollect anything like that ever happening. But simply in their space, somebody is, can I make somebody, one of them, co-host, so that you can mute if somebody is like, Swasti? Can I make you?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute. Because where are you, Swasti Shikana? Okay. I'm making you a co-host. If you can just mute people when they. Okay. So when I ask them, can you relate to something that has happened in your life before? Can you relate to any of these experiences? They say, no, nothing like that ever happened to us. Or have you heard your parents say, don't do this, do this? They said, no, nothing like that has ever happened in our space. But somehow they hold very strong emotional connect or disconnect to certain aspects in their life. Of course, we only know of things which comes into our space. So what comes into their space, they're very strongly um, fighting it. Why does that happen? So that part of things which you can't associate with the present lifetime is coming from all our subconscious memory, which is our primitive memories. Primitive as in from the time my soul was inception happened of my soul. From that time till my last lifetime death, there has been a lot of memories that was collected, experiences, emotions, thoughts, feelings. So many different things was imprinted into a subconscious mind. All those are there because a conscious mind is hardly about 19%. The rest of all the memories that we hold is in the subconscious mind. That's what we call the primitive mind, and we don't have access to it. So we are a sum total of everything that we hold from our entire lifetimes till our last lifetime. So the primitive memories plus the conscious memories that has happened in the present lifetime. Again, when I say conscious memories in the present lifetime, what happens is our conscious memory has short-term memory. Because if I ask you, what did you do when you were in 5th standard and first part of your school, first half of your school, do you remember anything from your 5th standard? You will not remember. Do you know where you lived when you were 5 years old? You will not remember. Okay. And if I ask you last year, this time, where were you? You will not remember because our conscious mind is very forgetful. It does not, but our subconscious memory is never forgetting anything. Only thing is your subconscious memory never categorize it as this is good, this is bad, this is ugly. No. For it, it is simply information and it keeps saving everything into subconscious memory. So from your present lifetime, a major part of all your memories also goes into your subconscious memory. Okay. So that is who we are. We are a sum total or a collective imprints of everything from all the time we have ever survived in this space. Okay. So what do you mean by knowing yourself? So knowing yourself is the breakthrough mastery program that I am putting together, because knowing yourself is the most important thing. If you don't know yourself, if you can't identify what is it that I need to break free from? I see at least 9 out of 10 people who come into my space, they always come with chaos, confusion. They don't know what to do. That is because of the social norms that we have, or the way we have been cultured to be in the space, and all the do's and don'ts literally kills us. We really don't know what is right, what is wrong. In this whole battle of knowing what should I do, we somehow lose the person called me, myself. We don't really understand what this myself needs. So this whole breakthrough program is all about knowing your own self, because the single most important thing in living a meaningful life is knowing self. Okay. Knowing self means this is the only meaningful thing you will do. Everything else is temporary, because by the time we finish this life, I always tell my husband, because he used to be a very stressed person about small things, and he was working so hard. He didn't have any time for home. I told him, imagine there will come a time when you will have your, probably, I don't know where we will live. I always have this imagination of going to some remote place, have a small house where we have a portico and a lot of greenery. That's my dream. So I always tell him, when we go to that house, when we get old, and I put an easy chair for you, and when you lie down on that easy chair and look back, and you will realize, oh my God, I did not do anything meaning for myself. I kept myself always, on a run. Like I'm always walking on these, what do you say, needle, which is what, like, what do you call it? Or Mahabharata. Guru, he was on those arrows, na? So I always tell him, see,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So that's what. And I always tell him, you will realize when you're on that easy chair, my God, I was literally living my whole life like this. Where did I lose myself? When will I know what I like, what I don't like? You simply are on a, marathon session, which is supposed to be run nice and comfortable. You are like, sprinting in a marathon session and tiring. So he used to, at that time, didn't understand. Now he feels like, yeah, what he said is right. I wasted big part of my life not knowing what I want or how I want. Okay. So knowing self, I'm just defining, what is it that when I say I know myself, you should simply know who you truly are. It is your ability to identify and understand your feelings. How are you feeling? And, it has become a style these days for people to say, I'm stressed, I'm worried, I'm depressed. Every time they define themselves, they are always using a negative word to project who they are. Instead of trying to say, why am I feeling this? They never go into that space. They're like, I'm stressed, I'm worked up, I'm worried, something is happening, and I'm crazy. And this word depression has been given to people so easily. People just pick it up and they're busy telling themselves, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed. They do it like a japa. They keep chanting it, and invariably that becomes their reality. Okay. But the ability to know self is to understand how you're feeling and what are your thoughts regarding it. And based on this, how are you behaving? Are you able to identify it? It doesn't matter. I'm not talking about whether it is positive or negative. But right now, when I say, even if you are actually saying, I am depressed, when you say, I am depressed, can you actually identify and say, why am I feeling depressed? What is causing me to do this? That, climbing that ladder down, just climb that ladder down to identify, why am I declaring myself depressed, or why am I declaring myself stressed? So understanding all those things is knowing myself. Even if I know why am I feeling stressed, and I can write 10 things about it and figure out the root cause of it, which means I know myself. If I don't know it, you are going to be like, going round and round and round without having a solution. Okay. As a result, you monitor yourself better and create a more purposeful life for yourself. You will know what it is that you can and can't control to make yourself happy. If this much, even if I know why I'm unhappy, or what can I do to make myself happy, or why this thing is happening. If I'm happy, why am I happy? Even knowing that makes a big difference, isn't it? So that you can identify the next time onwards what can make me happy. So that complete clarity on who I am, what am I feeling, what am I thinking, how am I behaving. If I have that, to a large extent, you know yourself, but you still don't have the tool to go to the next phase. Now, based on this sheet, who we are a sum total of all the experiences that I spoke about. And based on all these imprints from our present lifetime or from our past lifetime, we all are conducting in a particular manner. Okay. We really think we know ourselves, but I've just put this Johari window here so that, you all can, I understand that every morning I wake up, I get dressed, I go to my office, I meet my colleagues, I meet my peers, or I meet my friends. But every time I step out, there is a particular manner in which we are behaving. Okay, the way we speak, our body language. I was listening to something recently, and it is said how we can look at a person and understand what that person is thinking or how they are from deep within. Okay, it is about the hand movements that they're doing. If you look at their hand movements, you can make out, is this person having a fear of talking, or the way he moves his eyes, his pupils gets dilated, or it is becoming big, or the way he moves the eye, or the way he smiles, or the expression that he is holding on his face, his eyebrows, his forehead. If you see the face, you can make out what this person is feeling inside. Okay. And most of the time, all of us think, nobody ever knows when I'm upset. I also used to think for a very long time. Actually, I managed it for a very long time, but then I didn't realize physically I'm giving out some or the other symbols which shows that this person is going through some kind of a stress. So we all feel like this is me, I'm projecting this, but this projection also, now when you're projecting, that is the open space, open free area, which means I know myself and I know this is what I'm projecting to the world, and the people in front of you also get to see you and understand this is what you're projecting. To the extent that you're projecting and they are kind of understanding this is what you're projecting, that is the free space that we are holding around us in terms of my identification to the people. Okay, so what I project, they see. Okay, and I'm always very proud, like, I always project a very confident, image of myself and all this stuff. But what we don't realize is sometimes, not always, because I'm seeing the whole world is so self-engrossed in what they're feeling, how they're feeling. Very few people are able to look at the other person and identify what's happening there. Okay. But mostly I'm saying this is the personality Johari window. Okay. So this one, we have two other areas that we need to keep in mind when we are outside with people, which is a part of our personality. One is like mask, eye mask, hidden closed area. So for example, like if I was, when I started working, there was a lot of things happening in my space. People might have been able to look at me and understand, okay, this girl is going through some, some kind of crap in her life, but I don't speak about it. Okay, because I don't speak about it, you don't know what it is. So that is another part of my personality. Just because I simply don't want to expose this to you, you will not get to know about it. Okay, but that doesn't mean the other person cannot make out that you're going through somebody. I mean, I'm going through something. You will be going through something. Some of them who are intelligent enough or an antenna which is high can make out that there is something wrong. But there are a lot of people who can also know something about you which you don't, which is called the blind area. Means I myself don't know about me, but the other person who sees me knows it. Okay, this is something, on a lighter note, this is what people gossip about, isn't it? Whenever they get into a group, what are they doing? They're busy gossiping about somebody else. What? They're gossiping about somebody else. That person doesn't know or doesn't identify that quality or behavior or expression about themselves, but the whole world gets to know that this person is this. Or for example, imagine you are about 4 or 5 friends are there, and you have different kind of friends, like different behaviors are there. But they are so obvious about their own behavior, they don't realize. So the minute one steps out of it, these four will speak. You know what? Right now, just now, what she did was she was manipulating, which is what she does every time she comes to a group. Now that friend who stepped out will not even know that this whole crowd thinks I'm manipulative, because she herself is not able to identify that I am manipulating. She thinks I am just being me, and I am always good to myself, isn't it? I always want to call myself good. I'm very rarely connecting to my negativities and saying, okay, this is negative about me, because nobody wants to say this is wrong about me. Everybody wants to say, I am right. And even if you try telling them, imagine the same friend, I call her and say, hey, you know what? The rest of the people always think like you're being manipulative. Maybe there is something wrong in the way you're saying what you're saying. Can you just change it? Do you think she's simply going to take it and say, oh, is that what it is? No, she is going to fight it out and defend herself and try to prove that she is not manipulative. Everybody agrees? Yes, no, because I don't get to see anybody because all there, yeah. Okay. So there is something called a blind area which we don't see about ourselves, but the whole world get to see about you. Now, because of that, also, there can be a lot of energy disruption around everybody. And I'm like thinking, I'm always very nice with people. I don't understand why they are bad with me. I don't know why, they're treating me badly. So this blind area is one part. This open area is one part and the hidden area is one part. Now, when all the three are in, when the dark area, unknown area, forget about it. I myself don't know what is my potential, or somebody else also don't know what is my potential or what is there in that deep subconscious mind. We don't know. We can always explore this area. This breakthrough program is one way of trying to tap into this dark area. So we will come to the dark area later. So between this open, hidden and blind area, there are a lot of things about our own self. Though we say we know, we really don't know. All of you agree? Okay. Because of that, we are always in a confusion as to how come this friend who was talking to me till yesterday is not talking to me today? Or why is it that me and my family, despite me going out, working hard, doing whatever best I can, they somehow don't seem to be in harmony with me? That question mark, I'm sure all of us go through that, isn't it? There is always areas or people or circumstances in our spaces which leaves you so confused. You're like thinking, what did I do wrong? And the thing is, I'm not able to identify that I've done something wrong, right? So now what's happening when this confusion is going on is when we end up invariably taking some or the other wrong decisions, right? Or instinctively or emotionally something that goes wrong and we are like immediately reacting to things instead of responding to things. Now, when we are in this situation, what's happening is our entire focus is all about how are we feeling, isn't it? Somebody's mic is on. Okay. Entire focus is on how am I feeling? I am feeling hurt. I am feeling bad. Or why did this happen? A lot of confusion. And self-reflection, when we do, we are getting to see the same wall with the same pictures, right? Same justification, same reasons. I will look, why did this happen? And I turn around and look at my wall. I'm seeing the same thing. Now, what has happened? Familiarity has brought my own self has set in so much. I am not seeing anything different from what I'm seeing on my wall, right? Which does not give you an idea of this blind area where what am I projecting? Most of the time, you end up projecting something that you're holding, you're masking. Okay. I think I am not manipulating, but unknowingly in your speech and whatever you're doing, you are projecting that part of you of manipulation to the world. The world is seeing you, but you're not seeing it. Why? Because I'm still looking at my board and seeing, I didn't do anything to her, say anything to her, but why this happened? So this area is what we are not sure of. We are only aware of the open free area that we are projecting, the need to project, or whatever you want others to see, that's what you're projecting. We are mostly associating with this. Okay. Now, dark area, we'll speak about it. So far clear? Anybody has any doubts? I'll address that and then I'll go forward. Any questions so far? Here, just raise your hand, then I'll ask, I'll listen to you and then I'll go forward. Okay, fine. So we'll continue. Okay. 1 second. What happens? Why is my, okay. Slideshow. Okay. Okay, so what's happening is we have a lot of contributors are and triggers. So it's time for us to go and see what are the identification, because in the previous slide I told you we are not able to identify. So now we are supposed to go on a journey. You know, if all of you are feeling stuck at different areas, or a specific emotion you're stuck, or a specific relationship you're stuck, or a job relationship with your peers and your bosses and everybody, you are stuck and you seem to be encountering the same kind of problem again, it is time for you to go back and do an identification as to what is my blockage. Now, when I say identification, my self-awareness program is very much in depth into each stages of life, but here I've just given you a pointer to work on. What could be the blockage. So growing stages, go back and see, did you have someone who has behaved or, spoken to you in a certain manner because of which you have a belief system that this is right, this is wrong. And throughout your growing stages, from the time you have been a child to now, look at all the value and belief system that you have. Here you can make a note. You have to make a list of all that you really like and all that you really don't like. Okay, only make 2 lists, don't make multiple lists, and see why I like, why I don't like, and go back to your growing stages and see from where did you cultivate this value or a belief system. And if you, after you identify, try and see whether it is your strength or your limitation. Is that why you are not able to? I'm just giving you small tools so that you can start working on and see if that is created a strength. If you think sometimes, being honest is a value that I have. But sometimes when you grow up, when you come to a certain stages, you can keep quiet, but sometimes just being absolutely blunt. All of these people say, I am a very honest person. I don't think twice about it. When I have to say, I have to say. But sometimes saying it can break somebody's heart or space, isn't it? So that is where you have to exercise emotional honesty. Sometimes the value system also can become a limitation growing forward. How do I convert it into a balanced state where I have the ability or the wisdom to see, should I speak or should I not speak? So sometimes our own value and belief system can either become strength or limitation. So you will have to go back and see what's caused this strength or limitation in my space, and how did you get stuck? Okay, so my question is, like, if you have ever felt like, I've felt very stuck, have you tried working on it? And if you have tried working on it, have you been able to succeed, is my question. Write yes or no and keep, we will address it later. In case you have succeeded, you just see, how did you do it? Did you do it by myself or did you take outside help? If you did it by yourself, good. But when you work on my own self, there are a lot of times you can go back to the same value belief system and bring back that strength and limitation into your space, and can keep that as your part, your personality. You keep it as a part of your personality. So here you need to do on it. Did you take outside help? Did you get over it? Do you still have reflection of those strength and limitation? You have to start working on. Now, this is the conscious part of it. From the time you have been born till the day today, you are here today. So how have you worked on it? How often have you been able to identify, go back and work and come back here? Okay. Now, this is the conscious mind we are talking about. Now, coming to the subconscious mind, like I said, our subconscious mind has primitive memories from the time we have been created. Our soul was incepted, whenever it was. From that time to now, from everything, from my animal, plant lifetimes, everything, all the memories are stored in our subconscious mind. And from time to time, they always come into our spaces and create a blockage. Okay, it can really become a huge roadblock. I think it is one of my students' mother. Okay, I'll tell you this story here because it'll be a lot of relevance. Of course, my Akashic students knows about how it works. This student's mother, she would not eat any vegetables except 1, 2, or 3 vegetables her whole lifetime. Okay, and their family have tried everything possible, but she does not. She says they have worms and things like that, so only those vegetables she's very confident of, like she does not eat green, she does not have lady's finger, she does not have bangan, she does not have god knows what, almost 95% of the vegetables she does not eat. And when I looked into one of her past lifetime, it showed that in one of her lifetimes, when she was trying to escape from somebody or something like that, and when she was running to the forest, there was a huge ditch that was dug for to capture animals. She fell into it, and then she got caught there for a long time. And then she did not know how to come out. She tried very hard to come out of it, and then she stayed there. What she did was, there was plants, leaves, worms, all of them were there. And when at some point in time she couldn't sustain anymore, she had to eat some of those to sustain through that period that she lived in that ditch. And finally she got saved out of it, and then she had a huge aversion to everything. And that memory she was carrying in this lifetime, because of which she was not eating vegetables. But after we did the reading and some clearance was made, can you imagine, now she is so much more normal, she's much better, she's eating. Okay, so this is coming from this primitive mind, from past lifetime memories that is there. Sometimes you simply don't have a reason for the way you're behaving, but you simply are behaving it, thinking this is right for me and I like it, I don't like it. Simple, over. Okay, so this is how you get Akashic record, gives you an answer for some of the questions which otherwise, even if you hold a microscope, telescope and walk through your whole life back into the time that you were a child, are looking at the identification part of it, like, how did I learn this, who brought it into my space, at what point did I learn, from whom did I, you will not be able to identify any of that from any of your present lifetimes. Okay, so the Akashic record part of it will give you a insight into that primitive memories that you're holding. And hypnosis is one part. Now, for example, I have done an Akashic record reading and I have told you this, you need to work. If I tell that mother, like, no, it's okay, this was just that memory there, please start eating greens. Maybe she will not be able to do it. At least with her, it was okay. But for some people, it will not happen, because the conscious memory can still be a part of their big blockage that will keep coming into their space. At that time, what happens, an hypnosis session where, you can take them and tap their subconscious memory and get them to remove it there. So sometimes one session is enough, or sometimes two sessions will be needed, where this trapped emotion or memory from the subconscious part can be removed through an hypnosis, a past life regression. Here I've only written past life regression. I forgot to mention there is something called quantum hypnotic healing therapy, which is QHHT of Mother Dolores, which is also something that I'm practicing, where there is a specific way and you need to spend a little time and understand and take them beyond the subconscious memory. So what happens is, we literally take them into their soul space and get them to delete these memories, actually look at it, understand it, clear it. And when I'm connecting with my higher consciousness, it's as good as connecting to the divine in itself. Okay, so this is subconscious mind, the unknown, and this is the conscious mind's identification of where and how I've created my blocks. Now, how do I'm giving you a few steps. If you all want to, you can make a note of it. Okay, this is one tool I'm giving you, emotional check. You can go back and look at we can come back to this after we finish the webinar. If anybody wants to, we can come back to this again, once again, not a problem. So I'm giving you, this is an emotional analysis triangle that I've put here. This is an emotional analysis. No matter what happens in your space, this event, incident, or people, whether you like or don't like, when they enter your space or something like that happens in your space, without your own knowledge, a thought comes. First a thought appears, and once the thought comes, there is a feeling that gets triggered off from that thought, and that feeling will go further down and bring in one of your emotions. Okay, either it is from joy, fear, anger, sadness, any of these emotions can just come to the surface, and without realizing why. Sometimes we don't realize why this particular person is putting me off. Okay, as it happened, I simply cannot stand this person. As I'm sure all of us have gone through that, at some point in time or the other, we have met people, and for no reason, we just don't like them. They have probably not done anything to us, or maybe not even had a serious conversation. But we simply don't like them. Why? I just don't like them. Then there is a feeling, some restlessness happening in your in yourself, and there is a feeling like, no, I don't want to talk, I want to go away, I'm feeling a little irritated, or something is not, something that keeps happening in your space, which is coming from an emotion called fear or anger. Okay, so it could be possible that somewhere in your life, either from this life or past life, there was a person who looked, felt, or behaved in the same way, and that person has left left that residue, of that experience which was not tasting very good. So you're holding that emotion here. And now, for example, imagine, I mean, don't feel bad, Ratna. Ratna just happened to come to me in my space. And for some reason, she reminds me of somebody from my past, or some experience where I went through a lot of anger. And the minute I look at Ratna, I want to turn away. Now, Ratna's not done anything to me. But here the fact is, I am holding that emotion in my deep subconscious mind, and my conscious mind is not aware of it, right? And then what? I am, for example, Ratna has no choice but has to share my room because we have gone for a conference. Now, if I'm going to stay in that room with Ratna for the next 5 days, can you imagine, for 5 days, I'm going to be completely in disharmony? Why? And Ratna is like thinking, I really have no clue why Viji doesn't like me. She hardly talks to me. She comes to the room, she puts her earphone, she sits, she doesn't even look at me. That is Ratna's thought. My thought is like, I don't want to talk to this lady. The minute I look at her, I'm feeling very irritated from inside, anger from inside. So do you see, I'm behaving in a manner without clear identification why I'm not able to talk to her. So most of the time, most of us are behaving exactly in this way because deep down we hold a belief system towards an experience at some point in time in our life, which need not necessarily be the truth in my present space, but I hold that as a defensive mechanism to run away from this person or situation, or use it as an excuse for not even trying it or being in that space. Am I making sense? Making sense? Okay. Because like I'm going a little too fast, so I don't know. So without our knowledge, we have multiple shields built around us, which we hold as a reality. In fact, it need not be the reality. Okay, so identifying this reality is also another way of knowing who truly am I. Okay, once I know, like, if I could look at Ratna and say, it's okay. I mean, Ratna is completely different. I don't even know why I'm feeling this. And now I'm not even recollecting who is the other person similar to Ratna who created that discomfort. But I can always make an effort to talk to Ratna and all this stuff. At the end of 5 days, I might actually realize, hey, Ratna is such a wonderful person. But we don't give that opportunity to our own self to try and see if this is a limitations I've created because of my belief, or is this a reality? So somewhere we are missing the difference between a reality and an assumed reality which we are holding in our space. Clear? So I'm just giving you a tool, like if you happen to feel things like that, sit with it. Okay. Here I'm saying, ask what happened with this person. So I need to ask what happened. Did Ratna say anything, do anything? No. Then ask myself why 3 times to find the next answer. And then once you ask why, and when you don't find that there is an answer, then you are supposed to ask, then why am I feeling like this? Okay, ask yourself those questions. And after all that, you will be able to figure out what is the emotion that you're still holding and go back, go on a journey to identify why. Okay. And figure out how can I feel better. So once you go on this reflecting journey, there is a big possibility either you might not know all the answers, but at least you will figure out a way of saying, you know what? Actually, Ratna didn't do anything to me. Clear? You can at least find a partial answer, if not a complete answer, so that you will be able to feel better. If not, talk to somebody who is neutral. Now, don't go and talk to Ratna's friend. You'll create more problem, okay? Because that person is going to go back to Ratna and say, hey, you know what? Your roommate Vijay said something like that. Gone. It's like making things more worse. So you talk to someone who is not related to Ratna or completely outside your this thing. This is just a tool I'm giving you. You all can experiment it and things like that. Again, this can or cannot work for you because self-work needs a lot of time and energy. But when you work with somebody else, it becomes a lot more easier because you're talking to a person who is not a part of your system. So they're not biased or they don't have an opinion. So they'll be able to give you a neutral feedback. So here, how do you do this? Okay. So I'm giving you another tool, power of pauses. Now, for example, you're walking around very angry. Now, Ratna has not come to today. Poor Ratna is the Bakra. Okay. So Ratna has not come to the room. And I am like walking around in my house. Dad. We're still very irritated. Oh my God, she is going to come to the room in the next 45 minutes. I really don't know. I'm going to be uncomfortable. Okay. Now, if this is what is happening, what I can do is just pause. This is Power of Pauses. I think there is a book itself, Power of Pauses. You can all buy. Pausing gives an audience time to reflect. So imagine I'm walking up and down the room. Okay. If I tell myself, Vijay, pause, and I'll pause and I should turn around and look back to see why am I feeling like this? What am I talking to myself? What is being said? Okay. I have to look at it and then see why is this happening? Just give an opportunity to identify things. This is another, the previous tool is you can write down everything. The other one is a physical exercise where you will, you're walking in one direction. After 10 steps, if you feel I'm very irritated, stop, just take a U-turn and look behind you to see what happened. And if I stand there and look back to see Ratna standing on the other end, and I'll realize there is nothing that has happened between me and her to feel whatever I'm feeling. Okay. Or if you can identify, imagine if you can identify here, if you do an identification, address that issue so that you will find a resolution. Okay. So these tools is I'm giving you, you all can try. And if it helps, good. I'll be very happy. Now, knowing versus not knowing. Now, what happens when I know what is happening in my space or having an awareness of who I am, what I am going to have a very clear transaction, very clear conversation. Our interactions will be without any kind of confusion, no misunderstanding, nothing. And I'm always in a very joyful mode. Because of this, I'm very successful. But imagine I don't know about myself. Then what am I doing? My happiness and everything is dependent on everything around me. This might look like a person here, but you can replace this with your career, replace it with your relationship, replace it with, your own relationship with yourself. You can replace it with your ambition, anything. When you don't know, this is the kind of relationship you will have with everything around you, including yourself. And because of which, what happens? Depression, right? The word depression, which is so freely available in the market now, we feel depressed, we feel low, we really don't know what to do, because of which we are going to be unsuccessful in life, right? So, and when you're like this, at some point, everybody feels like, I want to take a break. This is what is happening all around now, isn't it? Some of them are successful, some of them are not. What they do, I want to take a break from my work. I want to go for a holiday. I want to spend some time, think about it or whatever. Now, what this person does is takes a break, and most of the time either goes there also and carries his entire work there, or he will go there, switch off everything completely. But when he comes back, he has no resolution. He'll come back to the same situation. Yes or no? A break is only this in terms of going for a holiday, taking few days off, or staying away. Let's take some time off. All that is not going to resolve your issues, because the fundamental issue will still be there, isn't it? Deep down. And some people will go to discourses, some people attend some retreats, some people do some self-help reading, some people take counseling, life skill coaching or training. Some of them go to psychologists, some of them go to psychiatrists, and some of them, till then they would not have gone to temples. Then suddenly they will start going to temples. And then astrology, numerology has always been there for ages. So people, first best thing that they do is go and show their astrological chart to see what is happening. And now healing modality has become very prominent. Okay, so this is where we were. This is what we are doing. Most of us are stuck in this place trying to figure out how do we get a break free. Because today, let me tell you, the whole world, though the earth is spinning, universe is functioning, everything is going as per time, not even 1 second gets wasted. But I feel most of us people are stuck in a specific time or an experience. We are literally stuck there. We are not moving forward from there. And we are trying to find a solution to that problem or whatever, staying wherever we are. We are not making an effort to get out of a comfort zone to create something new for us. So it is always about creating something new from a new space instead of from the old space. Because whenever you stay in the old space, what happens is, like, you never know when it can pick you off and get you back into the same space. For that, you need to go through a complete transformational journey like this butterfly. You have to come out of this place instead of being in a comfortable space. You have to come out and become such a different person that nobody can ever take you back into the old space. Okay, so what is the goal of this program? This is to give an experience of incredible transformation through a unique blend of life coaching, spiritual coaching, Akashic, and hypnosis. Okay, and here why I have put this program together. For example, you come to me, you take an Akashic record reading. I do. A lot of people, they come with a specific question. We give an Akashic record reading and we give them an insight, and they feel like, I know why this happened to me. They somehow get stuck with the realization, but don't transform from that space. Some people transform from that space. Some people take action. They go to a newer places or whatever, but not everybody gets to go into that space. Now, because see, if you go out into the market, or in whether it is in a healing space or coaching space or whatever, you are going to get everything in bits and pieces. Okay, you will get counseling with one person. The counselor might not be able to coach you. If you go to a coach, coaches are very strict in terms of how to put your framework for your experiences, but they will not be able to give you a look into why this is happening to me. And spiritual coaching is all about bringing an insight into how the divine intervention is happening, or how our soul formed and where are we going. That part of it, you will go for a spiritual coaching, you will get it. Spiritual coaches are capable enough to give you a little more than a normal counselor or a therapist or whatever, because they'll be able to give you an idea into your journey coming here. But that doesn't mean the spiritual coaches are capable enough to give you all of it. Like going into an Akashic space, I have a lot of spiritual coaches are there, but they don't get to go into Akashic space. Okay, now Akashic space, I said it could be an insight into it, but how do you help them move to the next level? And like Pratima said, when I teach with all my heart open, is because I feel you need to feel the transformation. And most of my Akashic students have gone through life transforming journey. Most of them, I very rarely had anybody who is stuck wherever they are. All of them have moved forward, because I bring in my life coaching and spiritual coaching and Akashic together. When I teach them Akashic, I'm not just giving them Akashic alone. Now, hypnosis is the next part of it, because we all go to hypnotherapist. Now, hypnotherapist is a trained counselor, or a psychologist, or an idea into psychiatry part of it, and they give you an hypnosis session. Where I went to hypnosis, 5 sessions only I've gone in my life. Afterwards, now I'm going through into those sessions. That is different. But when I was going through trouble, I went into hypnosis session 5 times. And most of the time, always, our own conscious mind can be a blockage to go through a very successful hypnosis session. Okay. But if you have a very good hypnotherapist who can take you through hypnosis, they can very easily help you remove some of the imprints from your subconscious mind. So what happened is, I've been lucky enough to get trained as a counselor, as a life skill trainer, as a life coach through ICF. I've gone through ICF training for life coaching. And the spiritual coaching happened with divine intervention. So all my spiritual coaching has been a download from the divine. And Akashic was my blessing as a child. So I have an insight into Akashic space just like that. If I go sit in a crowd, I keep looking at people and I look at them for a little while and I get to see their past life records. Like yesterday, I was sitting in a temple for some reason and had at least 3 people's download happen. And I said, no, enough. Okay, Akashic, please, enough. I don't want any more download. That is the way I function. And hypnosis, I've done basics 2-3 times. Now I'm doing my advanced level. So also hypnosis, I am also trained to do the quantum hypnotic healing therapy of Mother Dolores. Okay, so I can always choose a clinical hypnosis or a spiritual hypnosis. Okay, and I can combine both of it. Like, the other day I tried a spiritual hypnosis, but the spiritual hypnosis at some point in time, because of this person's conscious mind kept interfering. So then I could at some point switch into a clinical hypnosis and do the healing for him. So by the gift of God, or blessings of God, I have been trained into all of it, where a person needs to go into separate spaces to get pick up to get one or the other healing therapies or healing, and then they look for the next one somewhere else. I thought in this breakthrough mastery program, I will bring all of it, all my experience as a counselor, coach, and Akashic, plus my QHHT learning. I can create a powerful program where, I can easily help them connect with all the events in their life at some point in time and give them a breakthrough from all their limitations that they're having in their space. Okay. And then they experience this complete transformation. You will hear a couple of them here who have gone through the transformational journey, and it was so unique for them because they never felt that they're taking a therapy. They never felt like, oh, I'm taking a coaching. It was more like going through a very loving, nurturing, nourishing journey that I gave them to become who they are today. Okay, so this whole program, when I was taking it independently, I've paid a bomb. Okay, and I've also done, I also do, this is what, okay, let me talk about this. This is the combination I am planning to give for people who want to take this journey. There will be 2 life coaching session, one before we start and one we conclude. So 2 life coaching session, and we'll have group coaching sessions like this. Today we are all as a group. So I will bring everybody together. I'll have group coaching sessions, so that through that group coaching, I'll give them, one is a spiritual journey, what happens to them. And then in the conscious world, I will give them a few tools to identify what is happening. And then through that sessions, we will pick up whatever it is, the most crucial thing that they need to identify, and then give them an Akashic reading to first understand the past life baggage, that what is created for them in the present lifetime. And I'll continue follow up on the WhatsApp. Everybody who knows me knows I'm always available on WhatsApp, and I've always given them guidance on whatever they want to. So the WhatsApp guidance will continue. And then a hypnosis session after we identify what is it, this major roadblock that they have. How do we remove that from their subconscious mind? So in hypnosis, whether it is a clinical or a spiritual hypnosis session that is needed, that will be framed after discussion with these clients, whoever is taking in, and do that session and remove that part of the blockage that they have in their space, and then conclude with one more live coaching with the guidance on what needs to be done going forward. And of course, the WhatsApp follow-up sessions. I mean, guidance will always continue. This is a combination I've created. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, there will be 6 sessions that will come, and some can be very intense, some can be a little lighter than the others. Like group coaching is a little lighter, but the life coaching session and Akashic or the hypnosis session is going to be a little intense, and it will take a lot of time. And depending on the need, guidance call will be extended if there is a need. If someone says, no, ma'am, I need another call to talk to you, or have a chat with you, everybody who knows me knows it's never like, I'm not available, your thing is over. No, even when a person gives me just 1,111 rupees, I've always gone back to give them any guidance whenever they have needed, because my idea is not to create a business model. My idea is to create a spiritual evolutionary model where you go through the transformation. You need to go. I would love to see you all flying up there as butterfly, and I want to feel good that yes, it's such a nice thing that has happened to them. So you need to feel the transformational journey that you are going through. So that is why this is. Now, the cost for this entire program is 58,600, because I've broken it up into smaller amount, like life coaching that I charge for individuals, and the group coaching, and the Akashic, plus the follow-up for the Akashic that I provide, and the hypnosis part, where we have paid 26,000 rupees. The QHHT session will cost at least 26,000 rupees. Okay. So the actual cost for this entire program and is 58,600. My mentor does spiritual coaching alone for 78,000 rupees. Okay. So this, I want to offer it at a 50% discount. You can save up to 50%. It will be 29,300 rupees. If you take this for the next 2 to 3 months, you will go through the coaching program with me, plus whatever has been given here, these sessions. Okay. And whenever, if there is a need, you all know I'm always going to extend whatever support that is needed, because ultimately transformation is the key for this entire journey. Because if you don't break through this, then there is no point, isn't it? So the whole thing is about breakthrough that you will have in your life. And anybody who wants to choose, they can choose to pay into EMI. And I mean, of course, that can be worked out. All of you know, I have not been a person who is very rigid with rules. All of you know here. So because hypnosis session, it is very expensive. I know a lot of people do the short sessions, trigger sessions and all this stuff. But if you really want to go through a proper QHHT or an hypnosis process, they are charging up to 40,000-50,000 only for one session. One of my own friends does it. She charges 35,000 rupees for every single hypnosis session. But I'm saying, if people are really interested to work on themselves, you can always reach out, and we can figure out how to do, because the group coaching and all this stuff, again, like I said, all my classes, you all know, it's never been on the number. It's my commitment to give you as much as it needs for you all to go through the transformation.